started avoiding herself from me when I want to see her. Sometimes we don't chat frequently as we are. And whenever I ask her, she doesn't say anything. She said I should give her time. So I want to know, what is it if you are with a girl and the girl start doing that? What does it mean? So I want to know. Right now I'm with a girl in which I do everything for her if she needs. But it got to a time she started avoiding herself from me when I want to see her. Sometimes we don't chat frequently as we are. And whenever I ask her, she doesn't say anything. She said I should give her time. So I want to know, what is it if you are with a girl and the girl start doing that? What does it mean? So I want to know.
That is our first letter. He's in a relationship and the girl seems like to be avoiding him. Oh, okay, so Reverend, over to you. Do you think she's lost interest? And what should he do?
One of the things we need to understand is that when a woman has love, normally has love for one person. And when she's preparing to make a choice of a married partner, and quite a number of them are before her, and then giving that kind of consideration, normally she's trying to, maybe her heart is swayed to one side, and so it tends to be very difficult to give attention to the other person. Okay, so the gentleman has to know that once she's not giving the attention, that means that at that point in time he's not being considered. Okay.
Ooh, so right. her interest is definitely waning away from.
So, yes.
Okay.
So it is up to him to make the decision whether he's going to wait for her. Sometimes the relationship might not work, and thinking that probably he may come back. But all that he needs to do is that he needs to know that, well, the lady is considering a whole lot of suitors, and he has to think about it and make his mind.
But what about maybe it's not that at all? Maybe she's busy. Is there? And maybe the odds are she's busy with work or school. I don't know. Them just kind of put it out there that maybe it's not somebody else.
Oh, okay. Probably. Maybe he's not ready, but she should let him know that.
Communication.
Yes, I'm not ready at this moment. So please, can you give me some time? And I think she will. And if the boy is still interested in her, then he will also wait for her until they fully decide and the heart is moving towards one another. Then they can go ahead.
Okay. All right. We're gonna. I hope that helps. We're gonna move on to the next situation that our viewers have been sending in. So let's take a look.
The day that he'll pick, he'll tell you he's busy. I need an advice. I want to know what I should do.
Alright, so this is a pretty common thing a lot of people always say. Just if your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend is not picking up their phone, giving you excuses, are they up to something dubious? What should you do? So Rev, that very famous question.
In every relationship, one of the key things is communication. Because without communication, relationship itself will not be able to function well. And the relationship is a key indicator to show whether the other partner is interested in you or not. And once he or she begins to give you excuses, is not calling, you want him to call, and therefore that should begin to tell you that, well, probably this is not the time. It could also be that you're putting too much pressure on him. Yeah, probably he also wants to have time for himself. Probably he's still considering so many things, whether he should respond positively to you or not, and probably he needs that breathing space so that he could relax and then think about it. So what she can do is that she should also reduce the level of communication, and also she shouldn't put too much stress on herself, and then allow him to decide when he or she will call. The other indication is that sometimes when you break the communication for a while, and then if he calls back and said, "Oh, it's a long time I've heard from you," then that you know that there's a spark there which you can continue for the relationship. But if for a very long time it's not, then that means that the end.
You should advise yourself.
Right. The end is inside, yes.
I was going to say maybe the doomsday has affected the phone. All right, let's take a look. The next one we have is actually a letter, so let's take a look. Me, because if he cares, he wouldn't beat me. Do I leave him or do I stay? And that is from Beatrice, who is 25. So it's a very kind of serious situation there.
You know, this issue of my boyfriend is beating me up. Most often, relationships are not straightforward thing that you can talk about or give what they call straightforward answers. I remember in my early years in marriage, we used to live in North Kaneshie, and close by there was a neighbor, and we know the man has been beating the wife, okay, and we were all feeling very disturbed. And I think it was a time we had a chat with her, but it's appeared that she's still interested in the marriage. Even though the man beats her, I think she's getting something which, in actual fact, makes her to still stay in the relationship. So it's very, very difficult to say straight away that once the man is beating you up, of course, once he's beating you up, don't forget that will be the kind of lifestyle he's going to live with you.
He's probably not going to change.
Yes, it's not going to change. But then it's up to you to decide that whether you're getting something beyond the beating, which you think will allow you to stay. That's fine. But otherwise, I'll advise that.
But Ref, I can't even agree with that, because domestic violence, I mean, I know actually this week there's a major campaign going around, against violence against women, and it's one of those things. I know a lot of times they say there's like psychological breakdowns for a lot of women in terms of why they choose to stay. I wouldn't even say, even if you're getting all the money in the world, I wouldn't advise anyone to stay personally. But, I'm surprised that you would think that because if they're getting something out of it, you would want them to.
You may not choose to stay, but somebody is willing to stay.
No, but this is advice. This is you advising them. Like, you say if she thinks she has something good, she should stay.
No, what I'm just saying is that you can advise people to leave, but then on many instances, people may not leave because they think that, well, it's far better to be in a relationship than to leave. Okay, maybe I don't know why. Because the reasons are very different and far-fetched. But under normal circumstances, yes.
Violence is unacceptable. And, at least, beating.
But haven't you heard women who say that they are really excited that their husbands or their men beat them?
I've heard of things
and
like
then that even gives an indication that the man loves them.
I've heard of things like that.
You've heard it? Okay. So such a person, you can't categorically say to her that, please, if the man is beating you, leave. You tell her and she's still there. And then she keeps on coming back and say, he beat me last night. What are you going to say?
Personally, because I haven't done a lot of research. I've even done a movie where I played a woman who was in a physically abusive relationship. So I know psychologically a lot of them usually are very broken women. A lot of them are broken. So a lot of it is excuses that I think definitely I won't just say stay. I will suggest they get some serious help, because a lot of them is a systematic breakdown of their mental state, usually over a long time. even if they think the man is the most amazing person and they love them, I think it's a little bit more intricate than that, than just, oh, you're getting something, stay, personally. Because it's such a serious matter. Some women get killed, in situations like that.
It is a serious matter, but at the same time, it's also a personal matter. Okay. You can advise somebody to leave, but if the person decides, I'm not.
So what kind of help would you offer somebody like that? Would you suggest counseling, even if they are staying? Because obviously it's a dangerous situation to stay in.
I would rather prefer that we call the man and see if we can talk to him and find the reasons why he's beating the woman.
Wow, I don't agree with nothing you just said, but I think we'll just move on because most people will continue. All right, let's go on to the next letter, please. My boyfriend has a pattern on his phone now, and he hides his messages from me. Do you think he's cheating? Okay, and that is from Natasha, 19. Okay, so I said, now I really feel insecure about it. Let me do that again. My boyfriend has a pattern on his phone, and he hides his messages from me now, and I feel insecure about this. Do you think he's cheating? Okay, so Natasha, 19. A pattern on the phone.
But
that's
the question is that
those patterns, before I think it's like a lock.
Yeah. So it's like a lock. Okay. The question is that why are you so much concerned about the messages that your boyfriend is receiving? Why don't you give him the freedom? If you feel that you are insecure, so why do you stay? Right? Because don't forget that even though you are close to him, let's call it very, very close to him, but at the same time he has friends, he has workmates, he has colleagues, he has people who from time to time want to get some information and so on. Okay, so I don't think you need to worry too much about finding out what are the messages that he's receiving, what are the kind of calls, who is calling him and so on. He's with you, right? So that should be your main motive, and then try as much as possible to win his heart. That is what is more important.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to our next letter, which is let's take a look. All right. So my boyfriend has changed now. He goes out at night, which he didn't like doing, I guess, before. I think his friends are the cause of all of this, and now I feel insecure about our relationship. What do I do? Biznick, who is 20. So yeah, going out at night. He didn't used to do that before. It kind of worries me that so many people are just assuming that everything has to be cheating, because I don't think it necessarily is. But that word comes up again, insecure. So people, a lot of, especially the females, seeming very insecure. What advice would you have?
Yeah, in this very situation where she thinks that it wasn't the pattern.
Before there's a change.
There are two scenarios here. Okay, one could be that when he was in that relationship with you, he was enjoying your closeness, your intimacy, and therefore that prevented him from going out. If he's going out, maybe the other side of it is that maybe he's not getting the same comfort probably he's getting from you, and some other person or other people are taking his heart away. So she has to need to sit him down and ask him a few questions, and then she also has to reflect on her own relationship with the friend to find out, have I been doing something that is pushing him away? Okay, so it's not one-sided, it's to be both-sided. What am I also doing to maintain his friendship with me, and then our relationship together?
Okay, all right, let's move on to the next one we have. You can have the letter. My relationship is dying. Less talking and we don't meet like we used to. What do I do to keep my relationship like it was before? And that's from Christopher, and he's 20. He didn't say how long they've been together.
Yeah, he didn't say right.
We don't
okay,
know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It could be. You know that we have different kinds of temperaments, and then we have what they call the extroverts, those who are stimulated, okay, with external stimulus, and then we have the introvert who are stimulated inwardly, right? They tend to be quiet people who talk very less. I myself am one, but okay. So the other issue is that he or she is Christopher, so probably he has to find out which kind of temperament is.
Okay.
Unless probably Christopher doesn't, right? And so probably in the initial stages of the relationship, that the because it's new, you know, the excitement is there. So you get him or her talking, but as time goes on, you see everybody begins to call into himself or herself, right? So that could be the tendency that if he's the introvert person, then of course, when he gets to himself, he will tend to be very quiet. So it's not a straightforward answer, but he has to identify the nature of the person.
Okay.
And then we'll be able to conclude whether he or she is intentionally trying to be quiet and to show that she's no more interested in the relationship, or that is what is natural self.
Okay, cool. We're gonna take our last one, and then we can end up on this. Okay, so if you have our last issue on the screen, please. Mates, Nanaya Ado, 21. Okay, very simple question. I know there's a notion that women should always marry young men older. But she's saying, is it possible for a girl to marry her age mate? I think yes, but
I will certainly say yes. Yeah. It's a emphatic yes. It's only we don't know which age is she talking about. Whether
she's 21, so I'm guessing.
If she's 21 and she's getting somebody at the age of 21, that's exciting because you have a whole lot of years and so on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities when people marry at the same age, and that is good. And even though it's quite young, that's good because you have a whole lot of years to move on. And one of the things that everybody needs to understand is that love and intimacy in a relationship is not automatic. It is something that you need to work towards.
It's a work, okay.
Yes. So marrying your age mate, that will be full of excitement because it tends that kind of freedom to relate to the person and do all kinds of things that will bring excitement. That should go on. But at the same time, they should put it at the back of their mind that it's not automatic, that it's going to work out in the same joyful, exciting way. There are a whole lot of challenges that are going to come in every relationship, whether you're your age mate or not your age mate, okay? And that is one of the things everybody should think of, that as for conflict, it's bound to come. Whether we like it, whether we pray against it, it will come. But then the issue is not a conflict, but the issue is how do we manage it?
How do we move forward?
Okay. How do we manage the conflict so that it doesn't become a setback to us or it becomes a barrier moving forward?
Obviously she's 21, so I'm thinking that's pretty much okay. But in terms of what if a man who's never been married before at 40 also marries a woman who's never been married and had at 42? What about maybe children issues? I know that's why sometimes some people think, so you marry someone younger for those things. What about in situations like that? When you're a little bit more older.
Right. Medical science will always tell you that a woman in terms of fertility, she's between the ages up to probably 29 and 30. That is when, because psychologically, physiologically, we all grow up to 30. Okay, that is your body, your physical. Okay, so by the age of 30, it's believed that your physical growth has reached its peak, and that is when you begin to plateau onto 35. And then after 35, everything starts declining, your hormones and everything and so on. So it's always believed that if a woman marries between 21 to 29 or 30, that is good in terms of what?
But men don't have those same
the men don't have this. So that is why, so if somebody is at 40 and my first question is that if you get married, do you want to have children? That should be the issue on your heart. If it takes, then of course you would like to marry somebody who is younger, who is within the fertility age, whereby she can bring forth children. You know, it's always said that after 35, 40, that is when children are born deformed because of the imbalance of the hormones within your body system. So that is why it's good that a man and a woman who think that they want to have children, by 30 they should get married and make sure that before 35 they have their first child.
All right. Okay, so we're going to wrap up now. I want to say a big thank you to my guest, Reverend Pa Echo Quay from Great Talent.
Global
Talent Chapel in Lashabi. All right, perfect. Thank you.